I'm Richard Gage, architect of 20 years, from the USC School of Architecture, graduated here in 1986. I've been researching the collapse of the 3 World Trade Center Twin Towers for about 2 years now. What we're going to be doing today is asking Dean Ma for a peer review of a particular problem relative to the Twin Towers. Joe Princiota, one of our 435 petition signers, brought to our attention this particular problem relative to the 3 high-rise collapses on 9/11. He said in his letter, Mr. Gage, I have a real problem. I lost 2 cousins in 9/11. Will you help me? I said, sure, Joe. And in his letter, he documented that the winter gardens suffered severe roof damage from the collision of about 9 perimeter wall units that left the Twin Towers during the collapse up from the 76th floor, traveled 600 feet laterally, exiting speed 55 miles an hour out of the 76th floor. He said, I've looked at the physics, it doesn't work without explosives. So we looked at it. Guess what? It doesn't work without some additional force other than gravity or some springing action from one floor falling to the next, springing these perimeter wall units, which weigh anywhere from 4 to 20 tons. So I said, Joe, I'll bring this to Dean Ma at my alma mater, having graduated from USC. Spent 4 years at this school, a lot of sleepless nights. Learned an awful lot about design. What I've learned in the last 2 years, however, has been far more important to me, and I believe far more important to the dean of this School of Architecture, because if 9/11 was based on a series of mistruths, half-truths, lies basically, about how the 3 high-rises were brought down, then we have very serious problems in our country. 9/11 brought on the controlled demolition of our democracy. With the Patriot Act, the Military Commissions Act, the forthcoming homegrown terrorism. It brought on the invasion of 2 countries in which already 1 million people have perished. So I'm bringing to the dean's attention today this particular problem, which is one isolated problem and a panoply of problems relative to these 3 high-rise collapses, which is one isolated problem relative to a whole another degree of panoply of problems relative to the overall picture of 9/11. The architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, of which we now have 435, staking their reputations on the line publicly, their licenses, their degrees, demanding a real investigation with subpoena power under oath that we can depend on to get at the truths as to why 80,000 tons of structural steel in the Twin Towers was brought down at virtually free fall speed, somewhere between 9 and 15 seconds. Why there's tons of molten metal found under both Twin Towers and Building 7. Why that molten metal has the chemical evidence of thermite, a high-tech incendiary used to cut through steel like a hot knife through butter. Why there's molten metal microspheres found in all of the Trade Center dust throughout Manhattan. Every sampling that's been done by physicists, by USGS, by independent firms doing toxicological studies like R.J. Lee. Why there are no floors found at the bottom of the Twin Towers. There's 110 floors, each an acre in size. there's only a couple of stories of rubble down at the bottom, and there are no floors there in any of the photographs. Why 90,000 tons of concrete was pulverized, most of it to a fine powder? How does that happen in a gravitational collapse? How do we have 700 bone fragments, a half an inch long, found on top of the high-rise across the street, on the other side of where the airplane came in? These are among the very serious questions that must be answered in a real investigation and that we're asking Dean Ma's help for. But specifically, today, one simple engineering problem. How did these 4-ton perimeter wall units eject themselves at 55 miles an hour out of the face of the 76th floor during the collapse of the North Tower, landing 600 feet away on top of the Winter Gardens? We have exhibits to document all of this, and we're asking the Dean's help to help us to understand. We'll see how it goes. The Dean's secretary.
Okay.
You're not the Dean, are you?
I'm leaving.
Oh, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Richard Gage, architect, 20-year architect. I graduated from here at USC. I have a package for you.
You do?
Yes, I was just going to deliver this to you. Let me just give it to you really quickly. See, it's got your name, Yannis.
It is true. Exactly.
I'm with Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.
Okay.
And we have 435 architects and engineers putting their reputations on the line, demanding a real investigation of the collapse of the Twin Towers.
Okay.
We have a specific problem from one of our petition signers that I couldn't answer, and that was, how do we have, from the North Tower, which collapsed, the 4-ton perimeter wall units, 9 of them have been ejected off of the 76th floor and landing 600 feet away on top of the Winter Gardens roof. So he's put, Joseph Princiota has put together many exhibits, and we wanted to ask your help and as a peer review request. So because we don't have all of the engineering skills resources that you have at this university.
Okay.
We're also hoping that when you look at this, you'll be intrigued enough to realize that there must have been some other source of energy pushing this front, such as explosives. And indeed,
I can look at it, and I don't know if we can review it or not, but we always are open to.
yes, one of your faculty or graduate students. It should take about 20 minutes. It's not a complex problem.
It cannot be 20 minutes.
Well,
but
it's
I can
simple
do that.
physics, I think.
Well, okay, well. Okay.
And then we hope that'll encourage you to take a look at some of the other intriguing problems with 9/11 collapses, such as the fact that there's no floors found at the bottom of the Twin Towers. They've all been completely pulverized, 110 of them. The concrete's been pulverized.
Well,
there's no stacks found at the bottom.
Okay, well, what I can tell you is we received many publications of this. I'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it and see what happens.
Thank you. And 435 architects and engineers would not be conspiracy theorists. We don't do that. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
There's a sign on it.
My way to be.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day, sir.
Michael, you want to catch the sign on the door?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a second. Well, how do you think that went?
Well, we caught the dean on his way out. That we're very fortunate. We were able to catch the dean of the University of Minnesota as well. Here at the University of Southern California, the USC Viterbi School of Engineering, we were able to catch Yannis and explain to him this particular problem. And I think he might be receptive. We'll see. We'll follow up as we do in these peer review requests, which we'll be presenting in every city that we go in. After all, we're speaking now in a different city in every other weekend around the country. And in fact, we'll be going to Europe as well, November 5th to the 19th. We have 6 countries to visit, and we'll be looking for deans of colleges and universities in those countries as well. Our next stop is Denver, where we'll be speaking with the University of Colorado Dean of Engineering.
So they won't be able to say they weren't made aware of the information. They can't use that one anymore.
And we're not trying to pin them on that, but if that serves its purpose, that's fine. What we want is help in answering some very specific questions that were not answered by the 9/11 Commission, not answered by the NIST report, not answered by the FEMA report, and certainly not answered in yesterday's press conference from Shyam Sunder at NIST, trying to explain the collapse of World Trade Center 7 at free fall speed into a small pile 4 stories high with tons of molten metal found in the basement, which has the chemical characteristics of thermite. We need some help from people like the Dean of the University of Southern California School of Engineering.